we have Mr. Bob Chapman with us. I want to hope and pray that Melissa was able to get him cornered in to the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Chapman.
Well, welcome to you, too. And I am here. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, Sheriff Arapio has been very effective in sending people back from whence they came, who are in the country illegally. And, of course, our government doesn't want him to do that because they want these people in America so they'll pay taxes and be guaranteed votes because most of them are ill-educated. The average has about 3 years of school, and so they're easily induced to vote certain ways and do certain things. And, of course, they will live off of the welfare system. And, of course, there are those like John McCain in Arizona who want to put them on the Social Security rolls, whereas we paid in all our life into a system that's been looted and is bankrupt. And these people would get in to the system that's $30 million or more without paying anything at all. And I don't think that's fair. There's two surveys in the last couple of weeks, and people were asked do they agree with Arizona. And the first one, it was 90% of the people agreed, and the second was 94%. What this judge has done in Arizona has been done at the behest of the federal government, and I wouldn't want to be a Democrat running for re-election or for election. The public is enraged, and that the Democratic Party is going to get wiped out. There was already rage in the system because people were sick and tired of the elected members not representing the constituents. They were representing the people who paid them off: Wall Street, banking, insurance, pharmaceuticals, transnational conglomerates. And so there's going to be big changes coming, and I hope they are coming, because if they don't come, you're doomed.
Well, the female judge that made the ruling has now got Secret Service agents on her house and on her person going back and forth from work. There has been quite a number of threats against her. I have a big time problem with the threats against her because there is a due process out here. I disagree with her ruling, but that's what the courts have in the form of appeal. I disagree with the stance in which she did it, just less than 12 hours before the law comes in, and she's been sitting on this for 2 weeks. The state of Arizona is filing an appeal, but because she waited just 8 hours before the 12 midnight deadline, there was nobody that the state could go to put an automatic, or not an automatic, but to demand or request a stay on her order and allow the law to go ahead and go into effect. But I'm not a lawyer, ladies and gentlemen, but I do study the law, and this is an unconstitutional action by the judge. It's very plain. This is state law. This isn't federal law, and the federal government isn't doing its job in protecting we the people, and therefore the state of Arizona legislatures in droves, not half, not 10%, not hiding between the bed sheets or doing it on Christmas Eve. They put it out in the open, and over 90% of the legislators voted it. Over 88% of the legislative senate of Arizona voted on it, and the governor signed it within 8 hours of the passing both houses. And this has been out there, and then the federal government comes in here and says, well, you can't do. That's a bunch of hogwash. Mr. Chapman, you hit the nail right on the head. They're going to be voted out, and it's going to, in this arrogance by these people being appointed to judgeships, these arrogance by these legislative bodies that are elected in there, that are listening to the long-legged McGetty and his handlers, who are dictating to him what to say and do, are going to be voted out. And if they don't, if they don't vote out enough and continue this slanderous activity on to the Constitution and this murderous activity on the United States of America, these independent sovereign states, that is, I see a civil war in the America. I literally see it.
Well, we know the thinking behind it. We know that most of the people in Congress and in the Senate, as well as the bureaucrats within government and the people who control everything, the people I mentioned before, from behind the scenes, they don't believe that there's a constitution anymore. And they don't pay any attention to it. They do what they want to do. And this is very typical of a corporatist fascist state where the government is run by corporations, essentially, and everything gets nationalized, and everybody does what they're told, and if they don't do what they're told, then they're put in an internment camp. Sometimes, if they're very outspoken, like you and I, they get terminated. And that's just the way it is. This is the way these people operate. And they've been doing it for years, only it's now in the open. It's very blatant. It's very visible what they're doing, and they just don't care.
That's true. Now, personally, I have a question. It's a question. It's an affirmation. For several months, you've mentioned to the audience in the military that the U.S. economy is not going to grow, and if it does, it's going to be very weak. There was a survey put out by economists today, and they said that they were predicting a weaker growth in the coming months. Now, they're predicting a weaker growth, and you, on a couple of shows, actually made a comment that there would be no growth in our economy, and we've met, and I've heard you on several shows, on several other networks, and I agree with you 100% that the people behind the scenes that are putting these reports out and these surveys are lying to the people. The economy of the United States is in the tank, and the word is out that goods from coming in from other countries, such as Bangladesh, are going to go up. I don't see how the increase of wages in Bangladesh are going to make any big impact on the United States for the goods, because they're only paying those people over there $1 a day or less, and now they're going to pay them $1.50 a day. That doesn't seem to me as a big input in the cost of goods and services outside the country. What is your take?
Well, I think the cost of goods and services coming into the United States are dictated by the value of the dollar. On the USDX, the dollar had a low of 71.18. Recently, it had a low of 74. It rallied because of the Greek event and the condition of some of the countries in Europe. It rallied to 89. It's currently in the 82 area. And I think it's going to go back down and test its low of recently in the last 6 to 9 months of 74. And so if that in fact happens, goods coming in from other countries would nominally go up in cost. The problem is this: there is no level playing field. They say we have free trade, globalization, offshoring, and outsourcing. And what these countries do is they deliberately fix the value of their currencies lower than they should be. In this case, so that in dollars, the cost of goods coming, say, from Bangladesh will not increase. And how do they do that? They print money, and I don't know what the money is called in Bangladesh. We'll call it rupees. They print rupees. Pardon me?
Oh, you're fine.
They print rupees, and then they go and buy dollars. And that makes the currency go down in value. And they're all doing it. China, everybody else. So we continue to get screwed. And nobody ever talks about it because the economists know if they say what I say, that we should put on tariffs on goods and services, they'll all lose their jobs.